Scotch last night.
Hi, it's Mark Bosser from Top Local Lead Generation. We're talking about drinking scotch, obviously, with Chuck Prenovo from FranNet. Actually, Chuck's a franchising expert, and we're going to be talking about the questions you want to ask yourself, or have to honestly ask yourself before buying a franchise. How you doing today, Chuck?
I'm doing good, Mark. Yes, you're right. Sipping some fine Scotch last night.
So we've covered a couple of the first questions, but I honestly think that we're getting down into the big ones here. How much can I afford to invest, and what areas do I think my skills are laying? So
hmm
let's cover the first one off. How much can I? This is an important one. How much money do I got?
Right. Yes, definitely an important one. It's one of the first areas a lot of people just have to assess, do a personal assessment. How much can I afford? And it's kind of give me a range, what's that comfort range is the way I would describe it. And, this is a discussion you have to have with your spouse, if you're married or with a business partner for obvious reasons, right? And really what you want to get to is what's that range? And then the other way I like to ask it is what's that maximum amount that you want to invest? And then just again, make sure your spouse is on board with this because it's, probably the fourth biggest decision of your life, getting into business that way. What I usually recommend, Mark, to clients is, take stock of where you are from a financial point of view. And that essentially is make a net worth statement. List all your assets down one side, all your liabilities down the other, and see where you come out. Uh, there's you just the net result is you'll be in a better position to make that kind of decision about how much can I invest after you do that net worth statement. And that's important because um, you want to see not only how much you can afford, but where is the money coming from. A lot of times what we see are clients will um, pull money out of their home equity, as a straight investment into a business. The advantage there, of course, is that all the interest from that loan to your new business, all that interest is tax deductible. It's an expense for the business. So you eventually pay that back as well. The other part is when you have to, potentially finance. You go to the bank and you say, I'm thinking of buying a business. Here's my current situation. And again, you're now in a better position to say to the banker, here's what I'm looking for. I need $50,000 or $100,000 to secure this business. Here's what I'm willing to put in. Here's what I'm asking for. So again, you're coming from that position of power uh, to start those discussions. And what I always find too, when I talk to my banking relationships, they constantly tell me, if you have a client that needs financing, get them in here early. Let's start this discussion early in their research process because then the bank has the ability to coach them or get a roadmap for them. Here's what you truly can afford. It's almost like getting pre-approved for a house. So that those are the big money questions I always ask. And I'll just give you an example. I had a Calgary client this past week who was essentially, they were stretched. They had a limited amount of money that they were going to pull out of their house, and they were looking for about the same to go to the bank. And after really assessing where everything was, they felt they were stretching themselves. And again, this gets back to some of that risk. And what we ended up doing was we agreed not to go forward because it was a better decision for them just to sit tight for now, get some more of their assets in place before investing into a business.
All right, so I guess let's jump right to the second question, or the fourth in this series, really, which
Uh-huh.
is what areas did I really enjoy and excel at in the past, in business, in corporate positions, in what I've done?
Okay, this is what I call leverageable skills. So again, as you look back at your previous roles, your past career, these are the things that where that excited you. Where were those areas that you felt you were on the top of your game that you really enjoyed doing? where just you were most engaged with your team or your peers. So really think about that. What was I doing? How was I feeling? And those typically are the areas you're going to naturally excel at in a new business. So let's identify those. That's those leverageable skills, or transferable skills is another way to say it. That the other part is, when you look back at those positions, what specifically did you enjoy doing? So you can identify it kind of in the sales and marketing area. Was it leadership or managing teams, teams of people, or maybe it was financial or operations? But really, take stock of where you were with your past careers, and then that becomes essentially your core competencies that you can move into a new business, and that's part of building that ideal business model.
Pretty straightforward.
Yes, it is. It's easy to talk about, but these are soul-searching questions, and it does take time for a lot of clients to just come to a comfortable place, and that's part of the why we ask a lot of questions around the money and the leverageable skills. We want them to be comfortable before they move forward.
Well, clearly that becomes part of your business plan as well. Here's the areas that I need help in. Here's the areas I'm good at and I will look after or manage and know I'm comfortable with. And here's the places where I've got holes. I need coaching. I need outside help with accounting or marketing or whatever area of the business that we're talking about.
Absolutely, Mark. Knowing where your strengths are, and conversely knowing what your weaknesses are, and are you comfortable going outside of yourself or your organization to hire people for that? That's, again, one of those areas that you really I would say you have to be brutally honest with yourself. And again, that's soul searching. So it takes a little time to come to those, real solid answers.
Great. So we've been talking with Chuck Prenoveau. He's a franchising expert here in Western Canada. We've been talking about the kind of tough questions, getting real honest with yourself about before you jump into buying a franchise. The stuff you got to ask yourself to make sure it's a right fit for you and which franchise is going to be the right fit for you. You can reach Chuck at 1-604-849-0278. Thanks, Chuck.
Thank you very much, Mark.